If you have been knocking on doors that refuse to open, if you have been waiting for a miracle that seems to be taking too long, do not close your eyes in defeat. Stay right here, because something is about to shift. Saint Anthony of Padua, the saint of the impossible, the finder of what is lost, the intercessor for the forgotten, is being called upon right now in this very moment. For you, not for someone else. For you. Whatever has been taken from you, whatever has gone silent in your life, whatever door has been slammed in your face, this prayer is for that exact wound. Stay until the very end, because the turning point you have been asking for may come through these very words. Saint Anthony, I come before you not with polished words or a perfect heart. I come as I am, tired, uncertain, and carrying more than I can hold. I come because I have nowhere else to turn, and because I believe with everything still alive inside me that you hear even the quietest cry. I am not standing in a grand cathedral. I am standing in the middle of my life, with its unpaid bills, its unanswered prayers, its long stretches of silence from heaven. And still I come, because faith is not the absence of struggle. Faith is walking forward when every step feels impossible. Saint Anthony, I am asking you today to stand with me before the throne of God and lift my name. Not because I deserve it, not because my record is clean, but because God's mercy is greater than my failure, and your intercession is more powerful than my weakness. Hear me, blessed Anthony. I am one of the forgotten ones, the one who keeps giving and keeps losing, the one who keeps trying and keeps falling short. I am the person who smiles on the outside while quietly breaking on the inside. I am the one who has been praying for so long that they no longer know what to pray for, and only that they need something to change. Take a moment right now and type "Open the door" in the comments. Let that be your declaration, a signal to heaven that you are still here, still believing, still standing. There is something in my life, Saint Anthony, that feels permanently shut. A door I have knocked on 100 times. A breakthrough I have been expecting for months, maybe years. A situation that defies all logic because it should have resolved by now, but it hasn't. And I am exhausted from waiting. Maybe it is a job I applied for and never heard back from. Maybe it is a relationship that collapsed without warning, and I never got the explanation I deserved. Maybe it is a legal case that has been dragging so long I can barely remember what normal felt like. Maybe it is a dream I had since childhood, something I poured everything into, and the door closed before I even had a chance to prove myself. I am not angry at God, but I am honest, and honestly, I am worn down. Saint Anthony, you know what it means to intercede for the desperate. You know what it means to stand in the gap for those who have lost something precious, something that cannot be replaced by money or time. You are the saint who recovers what is lost. And right now, I am asking you to recover something for me. Recover my hope, because somewhere along the way, it got buried under too many disappointments. Recover my strength, because I have given so much to so many for so long that I am running on empty. Recover my sense that I matter, that my prayers are not floating away into silence, that heaven has not forgotten me. Saint Anthony, I surrender this situation to your hands. I am not holding on to it any longer. I release the outcome. I release my timeline. I release my plan for how things should go. I place it all, every fear, every doubt, every sleepless night, at your feet, and I ask you to carry it to the Father. Do not leave this video without writing, "I surrender it," in the comments. Those 2 words are more powerful than you know. Let this community witness your act of faith. Now, Blessed Anthony, I want to be specific, because God knows the details, and so do you. I pray for every person watching this who does not have enough money to meet the needs of this month. For the one who opened their bank account this morning and felt that cold wave of panic. For the one who is calculating which bill gets paid and which one waits again. For the one who is too proud to ask for help, but too desperate to keep pretending everything is fine. Saint Anthony, touch their finances with the same hand that opened prison doors and calmed raging seas. Let provision come from a direction they did not expect. Let debts be canceled. Let income multiply. Let the right person, the right opportunity, the right phone call arrive before this week is over. Not someday, now, this week. For the business owner who has been fighting for what they built, who has poured sweat and sacrifice into something that is barely surviving, I ask you, Saint Anthony, to send customers, to open contracts, to close deals that seemed impossible. Let the tide turn for them. Let this be the month they look back on and say, that is when everything changed. For the one who has been job hunting for so long that rejection feels normal. For the one who has a resume full of ability but keeps hearing no. I ask you, faithful intercessor, to place them in front of the right eyes at the right time. Let their phone ring with an offer. Let a door swing wide open that was always meant for them. Type, "Provision is coming," in the comments if you are believing for financial breakthrough. Your faith, declared out loud, shifts the atmosphere. Saint Anthony, I also lift up the bodies that are in pain. For the one watching right now who woke up this morning with an ache they have carried for years. For the one who gets test results that bring more questions than answers. For the one who is sitting in a waiting room somewhere, terrified, holding a diagnosis that feels like a life sentence. For the one who takes so many pills just to function that they have forgotten what it feels like to be well. I ask you, Saint Anthony, to touch every sick body watching this video, not in a vague, distant way, but personally, specifically. Let healing move through their bloodstream like a river. Let inflammation reduce. Let tumors shrink. Let the pain that has become a background noise in their life go quiet. I pray for the ones whose illness is invisible, the ones who look fine on the outside but are exhausted on the inside in ways no one can see, the ones with anxiety so sharp it cuts through ordinary moments, or the ones with depression that has flattened everything beautiful in their world, the ones who are grieving something no one has publicly acknowledged. Saint Anthony, let the God who created every cell in their body reach into those cells right now and begin a work that no doctor can explain. Let their next appointment bring unexpectedly good news. Let healing come in full, not partial, not temporary, but complete and lasting. Write "healed in Jesus' name" in the comments if you are standing on faith for your health or for the health of someone you love. Let your agreement be an act of worship. I want to pause here for a moment, not to stop praying, but to go deeper, because this is the part that most people miss, the part where prayer stops being a request and starts being a declaration, the part where you stop telling God how big your problem is and start telling your problem how big your God is. So listen closely. Saint Anthony, you are not a distant figure in a stained glass window. You are a living intercessor, active, powerful, and deeply present before the throne of a God who is not deaf and not indifferent. And right now, through your intercession, I declare that the power that is available to us is greater than anything standing against us. I declare that every door that has been sealed by human hands is being unlocked by divine hands. I declare that the situation that has looked permanent is not permanent. It is temporary, and its season is ending. I declare that delay is not denial, and silence from heaven is not absence. I declare that the God who holds galaxies in place has not lost track of my name. I declare this not because I feel it, but because I choose to believe it. Faith is a decision, not a feeling, and I am deciding right now in front of this community that I will not give up. I type, "I will not give up" in the comments. Say it out loud as you type it. Let those words come out of your mouth and into the atmosphere of your home, your car, your phone, wherever you are watching from. Words carry weight. Use yours. Saint Anthony, I lift up the relationships that have been fractured, for the marriage that has gone cold, where two people who once loved each other deeply now pass through the same house like strangers. I ask you to soften the hardness. I ask you to restore what disconnection has stolen. I ask you to do what counselors could not do, and what time alone has not done. I ask you to touch the heart of someone who has closed themselves off, and let love find its way back in. For the estrangement between parent and child, for the family that used to laugh together and now barely speaks, I ask you to open a path of reconciliation. Let pride be put down. Let old wounds be named and forgiven. Let the phone call happen. Let the door open. Let it not be too late. For the one who is lonely in a way that is hard to describe, who has people around them and still feels completely alone, I ask you, Blessed Anthony, to send them connection. Send them one true friend. Send them a community that holds them when they fall. No one was made to do this life alone. Let isolation end for them today. Write the name of a relationship you are praying for in the comments, not to expose it. Just one word, one name. And let this community stand with you in that prayer. I want to speak directly to the one who has almost given up on prayer altogether. You started praying about this situation so long ago that you can barely remember when it began. You have fasted. You have gone to church. You have lit candles, said rosaries, attended novenas, played prayer videos at midnight because you did not know what else to do. And still, nothing. I want you to hear this. Your persistence is not weakness. Your return to prayer again and again, even when nothing seems to move, that is not desperation. That is faith at its most raw and real. That is the kind of faith that heaven takes seriously. Saint Anthony himself knows what it means to intercede without immediate results. He knows what it means to stand before God on behalf of someone who is struggling, and to trust that God's timing is not our timing. And he is not giving up on your situation either. Stay in it. One more prayer, one more declaration, one more act of surrender. Because the breakthrough that looks far away may be one step closer than you think. Type "one more time" in the comments if you are choosing to keep going. If you are deciding today not to surrender your faith, even while everything else feels uncertain, this community will carry that with you. Saint Anthony, I come to the final portion of this prayer with a heart that is more open than when I started. Something lifted as we prayed together. Something in the heaviness shifted. I cannot always explain what happens when people gather in faith, even virtually, even through a screen. But I know that something real takes place. The scripture says that where 2 or 3 are gathered, there is a presence that is greater than the sum of them. And right now, thousands of people are watching this, praying this, declaring this alongside me. That is not a small thing. So on behalf of every person watching this video, the one in the hospital room, the one in the car outside their house, because they cannot face what is inside, the one playing this at 3 a.m. because sleep will not come, the one who has watched this prayer channel for months and never commented but needed this one specifically. I make this declaration: every closed door is subject to divine authority. Every stolen blessing is recoverable through intercession. Every broken dream is repairable in the hands of a God who wastes nothing. Every delayed answer is still an answer. Every lost thing, whether it is money, health, peace, love, or purpose, is findable by the one who found what was lost 2,000 years ago. Saint Anthony, finder of lost things, we ask you to find what has gone missing in our lives. We ask you to recover it. We ask you to bring it back with interest, not just restored, but multiplied, not just healed, but strengthened, and not just reconnected, but deepened, not just provided for, but blessed beyond the measure we asked for. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, we receive it. We accept it. We thank God in advance as if it is already done, because in the realm of faith, it is. Type, "I receive it," in the comments. Not maybe, not hopefully, but I receive it, as an act of faith, as a declaration of trust, as your agreement with everything spoken in this prayer. Before this video ends, let me say something to you directly. You did not find this video by accident. Algorithms do not move by chance when God has a point to make. Something or someone guided you here today to this prayer at this specific moment in your life. And that means this prayer was always meant for you. Whatever you are carrying today, you are not carrying it alone. Saint Anthony is interceding. This community is standing with you. And a God who has never once forgotten a single person who has ever called on his name has heard every word of this prayer. Do not walk away from this video the same as when you arrived. Take something with you, even if it is only one sentence, one phrase, one spark of renewed belief that maybe, just maybe, your breakthrough is still coming. Share this video with one person who needs it. Not because this channel needs the views, but because someone in your life is sitting in the exact same silence you were sitting in, and they need to know they are not alone. Be the reason they find their way to this prayer today. Saint Anthony, thank you for your intercession. Thank you for standing in the gap. Thank you for every miracle that is already in motion, even if the people receiving them have not yet seen it with their eyes. And to everyone watching, keep going, keep praying, but keep declaring, keep believing. The door is not permanently closed. It is just waiting for the right moment to open wide. Type Amen in the comments to seal this prayer. Let this community know you were here, you prayed, and you believed.